One, two, one, two.
Bismillah, it's Mr. Islah.
You know, she knows. When I see comments and stuff, I'm like, I'm not even gonna lie, nowadays I'll just give it back and I'll just start cussing their mum.
This is my director's cut.
Bismillah, it's Mr. Islah. You are listening or watching the Director's Cut podcast on the CS Network. And obviously, every guest gets a special intro. In a world where memes took over the feed, one girl will rise above the noise. She is BAFTA award-winning Queen Mehreen, coming to a throne near you. That's better than Game of Thrones intro, if I'm honest.
It's very good.
You know, not kind of bigging myself up, but...
But you are.
What are you saying, man? Nice and social distant little COVID podcast. COVID safe.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming, man. I know it's been like a long trek. When I saw what area you were coming from, I didn't even recognize, like, you look like Narnia. I was just like, raw, okay, she's dedicated. I better make an effort. So, boy. Alright, basically, what I do, just to get warmed up, is ask random questions.
Okay.
Right, so you get 3 random questions. And the first one is...
I'm not very good at these kind of quick fire thing. I'm not good at it.
Don't worry, it's not quick
try.
fire. You can think about it.
Okay.
But here's your 3 random questions. Question number 1. If you could co-present with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. Michelle Obama.
Raw, you thought that quick. And you're like, oh, I'm not good at fire questions. I can't. Why
Firstly, I don't sound like that. I think Michelle Obama. I just think she's incredible.
Yeah.
I think she is a fantastic role model for young girls, for girls of diverse backgrounds.
Yeah.
I think she's passionate about education. That's something I'm really passionate about. So I think we would just, but she's still cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very easy when you're talking about education or empowering young people to become boring and for people to switch off, and she's not boring. So I think we would get on really well.
Nice. All right, question number 2. If there was an audio book on your life, who would narrate it?
Oh, me.
No, it can't be you.
Why?
You can't narrate your own audio book. Answer the damn question. You can't change the question, bruv.
Okay, ask me the question again.
Do you want me to ask you in like a different tone of voice? Like, if there was an audio book based on the life of Mehreen Baig, who would narrate it and why?
Michelle Obama.
Why is it Michelle? Hey, Michelle, if you're listening, holla at your girl, because you got a fangirl here, bro.
Beyonce. I don't know. Who would you make narrate my life?
I don't know. Definitely not Morgan Freeman.
No. No, it'd be a woman.
Once upon a time in North London,
Yeah,
there was a young girl named Mehreen.
there was.
And who would be saying that? Whose voice do you picture? Is it British? Is it American?
I swear I don't know. No, come back to that. I told you I'm not good at these.
We'll go for Michelle Obama.
Yeah, Michelle Obama. Third question, Michelle Obama.
Third question.
Okay.
Everyone gets this question on the podcast. Mm-hmm. All right. If you could be a character in a movie and live in that reality, who would it be and why?
Elwood, Legally Blonde.
Really?
100%. Oh my gosh.
You're the second person to say that, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
My friend Nikita came on the show and she said, I want to be like Legally Blonde.
Oh my God. I just think it's my favorite film.
Yeah.
I think she is the most amazing character.
Yeah.
I just think all young women should watch it because she's all about people thinking or people assuming she's a certain way, people assuming she's not clever, people assuming she's not kind because of the way she looks. And actually, she's like, do you know what, Warner? I'm going to go to law school. I'm going to do better than you. F you all.
So you'd be in a courtroom as well, courtroom drama.
Yeah. Love
Sick.
that.
Okay.
Definitely.
That was a little warm up. I had to do like bare research on you, man. But shout out to Samir who helped me out.
Yeah.
But you have done a lot of stuff, man. Like you just came out of nowhere and you know what I mean? So we met on after the Prince of Egypt.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when we actually met.
So we've never actually had
A conversation.
a proper conversation beyond like, hi.
Yeah. And I met you at Prince of Egypt because I knew Sophia.
Yes.
So she was on a shoot that I was directing. And then I knew you from Muslims Like Us.
Yes.
Because I watched it back in the day. And then obviously here and there when social media, innit? You kind of know everyone. But like, you went from teaching to blogging to TV personality to TV presenting. That's a weird transition, going from teaching in a school to kids and then transitioning onto TV. Like, was that random or was it like
totally
planned?
Random? No, it was absolutely never planned.
Yeah. What was it? Tell me the journey. Like, how did it start? Were your mum and dad like, no, I don't want you to do this? Like, tell me, like, give me the lowdown, innit?
Talk you through the journey.
Yes.
So, I was teaching and I loved it.
Did you teach like secondary or primary?
I taught secondary and sixth form, so 11 to 18-year-olds, GCSE and A-level. And it's kind of all I ever wanted to do. I loved teaching and I was an English teacher. Okay. So one day I was at work.
This sounds like your audiobook. I think you should narrate it, you know? One day I was at work. Yeah, go on, carry on, sorry.
One day I was at work and something really irritated me. Yeah. So I had a free period that morning. Okay. So I wrote, I guess you'd call it a blog. I wrote a blog about it, but I didn't really even know what blogging was. I wasn't on Instagram at this point. I didn't have a Twitter at this point. I wasn't on any socials. I just taught, went home, slept. That was my life. And so I wrote this article, this piece, and I really liked it. I thought, this is a good piece of writing. So I put it up on the internet for my friends to see. And the next morning, I remember I put it up at like midnight. And the next morning, people in Uganda and Kazakhstan were reading it. It was
what? That's like the most random countries. Like before your mum's even read it. Like Kazakhstan's got a hold of it, bro.
It was everywhere. So the Telegraph found it. They ran an article on it, and the BBC found it. Okay. And they got in touch. They left a comment on the blog and said, "We're from the BBC. We want you to take part in this new documentary. Can you get in touch?" And I got quite excited because I was like, "Oh, I wonder what this is." And then I was at work and I had a phone call and it was about Muslims like us. Okay. So they said, "Well, we want you to do this show and there's going to be 10 Muslims and they're going to be living in a house, etc." And I said no.
Oh, you said no?
No. I said yeah. I said no for about 3 months. Okay. So for 3 months they were very persistent, which I'm very grateful for now. But at that time, I thought, I'm happy doing what I'm doing. It sounded like a Muslim big brother. And I thought, you know, you don't really get girls who look like me, Muslim girls, young Muslim girls, etc. on mainstream telly. So it's going to be a stitch up. And they're going to put me in a house with loads of people who are going to tell me I can't be Muslim because I've got my nails done, because I've shown my hair. Who wants to do that? Why would I want to put myself through that for 3 weeks? Yeah. So I kept saying no, and they said, "Look, can we come to your house, speak to you and your family?"
Bro, they went in. It's like a marriage proposal, bro. BBC out here doing a Rishta with you. Oh my days. Okay,
and we want to talk about any concerns that you have.
Did they bring gold in that, yeah? They brought all the sauna, innit? They brought the gold.
Why do you think I said yes? So they came, and it was actually my dad who said,
better.
Do you know, it's really weird. I still remember, and he said, "I didn't raise you to be weak. I didn't raise you to be stupid. So what are you scared of?" He was like, "You've got so much to give to the world. This is your chance to do it. Opportunities don't come all the time." And that day I said yes. And then Muslims Like Us did really well, and obviously we won the BAFTA, we won the RTS, the Grayson, like it did so well, and it just kind of exploded. So for a year, I was still teaching while I was doing my first year in presenting, because I didn't want to leave something stable for something that could just be like one hit wonder, done. So I would sort of Hannah Montana, I'd go to work in the morning and then I would change my clothes and go and present in the evening.
That's a lot of us though.
Yeah.
That is honestly a lot of us. I'm from South London, right? I used to work in Peacocks in Catford. I used to mop the floors and then literally go and do filming. Then I used to work in Zara behind the till, saving up for a camera. Then I was working in the Apple store. I was doing all these things, and then it's like I'd be at an award show one night, and then like 9 o'clock shift the next morning. It was weird.
It's a really bizarre place to be. So like I did my BAFTA speech one night, and the next morning at 7 o'clock I was doing a GCSE masterclass, and I just thought it was just really a weird place to be. And then I got promoted at work, and long story short, I just thought, I've got to pick one. Which one am I picking? Never going to be able to buy a house on my teaching salary. Let me just give this a go. And I resigned from teaching 3 years ago.
Damn.
That's basically what happened.
Did your kids miss you?
Yeah, I miss the kids, I think, more than they miss me. Yeah, I do. I miss teaching a lot. But I kept my foot in it. Like, I go back, if I'm not filming, I go back to my old school. I will help out. I go to school trips. I go to school discos if there's any behavioural problems and they need me. So I very much stay in it. I help out at tuition centres.
Yeah.
I don't think telly's my forever.
Yeah.
I love it, but I don't think that's my forever. My forever will be with young people.
You are literally doing documentary or program. You're doing loads of things that are like related to contemporary issues, things that you're passionate about. But the main thing, what I see when I see you on screen, you're doing things that most Asian female presenters I wouldn't see doing. Like in a good way, and no shade on anyone else or yourself or anything, but like, why do you think we don't see more people like yourself on these kind of programs? Is it because you have a certain niche? Is it because the success of what you did before? Do you like know the right people? Like, what is it?
I think it's a mixture of all of those things. So I think I was very fortunate in the fact that when I started my TV career, the commissioner on my program, in fact, the whole team behind Muslims Like Us were rooted from within the Muslim community. So I had a commissioner who was a Muslim woman who wanted to champion a young Muslim woman. I was fortunate in that sense. She went on to commission a lot of my other shows too.
Okay.
So that was, I guess, one of the reasons why my career didn't die immediately, because I had someone championing me, which we don't always have.
Okay.
I think another aspect of it was down to the fact that, you know, I worked really, really hard after the release of Muslims Like Us, when I was like, I would make sure every single, even if it was a 5-minute film for the one show that I went to, my lines were like the script that they didn't even expect presenters to look at, because it's not a scripted show, but I'd be memorized. Then I'd do my background research just to make sure I could bring something extra to it. I went in and I did, and I would send like any contacts I had made. I would at night time be researching ideas of other things I could do, and then I'll be emailing them out as a treatment. I'd write a page treatment. I'd say, this is why it's needed, this is the audience, these are the questions I want to raise, this is the purpose, and I would send it through. And actually, I don't know, I'm not saying it's right, because it's not, that as an Asian presenter or as a presenter with diverse background, you have to go that extra mile, because I know for a fact other presenters aren't doing that. They turn up to their job, do their thing, and they leave. But I knew I wanted to make it work, and so I did put in the extra grind, if that makes sense. And then, of course, like, it was also, you know, after Muslims Like Us, because it did so well, I had that backing behind me. So they were like, oh, there is an audience for her. There are people who like her. Like, we had how many millions of people watching the show, and people. So I think in TV land, then they're not very, they don't really like to take risks as much as they say they do.
That's what it is.
So the only time you will get someone backing you, really, if I'm honest, is if they see that there's a market for it. They will never, like, if I was just in school, who knows, would they have come and said, oh yeah, we see you could be something great? No. But they waited to see that I had that interest, and then they were like, yeah, we can get behind her, we can push her. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, you know, I wouldn't have even thought of it like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even thought of it like, because in my head, I'm like wondering, like, it's nice to see you doing things like the secret behind cosmetic surgery, the one show, Sunday morning live with my Jama and everything. It's like seeing that, it's nice seeing a brown face, basically, doing those sort of things. Because I mean, growing up, I've said this before, growing up, all I saw was Connie Huck, and that was the only thing. And when I see you doing that stuff, it just makes me question, like, how come the industry isn't like hiring more of us?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Completely. I mean, it's really tough, because I have nowhere near like made it, but I'm doing stuff, and
But mashallah, you are doing well.
Thank you.
Like, I had to research the hell out of you, so like I had to like absorb all this information like in like a night. So I was like, bro, she's actually mashallah done really well.
It's tough, because particularly when you're Asian, you're not even seen as like cool.
Yeah.
You're not mainstream, because you're not white. You're not, like, it's really hard to kind of create a space for yourself. And then when you do make a space, then people want you to only talk about Asian issues and only talk about Muslim issues.
Yeah.
I was born and brought up, I love my heritage, I love my culture, but I was born and brought up in North London, and there are things that, like, so many things I can talk about beyond my experience as a Pakistani woman. And I think they kind of don't know what to do with you. they don't when they've got you, they're really excited, but then they kind of don't know where to go from there. Okay. And then I don't think it helps from actually, if I'm completely honest, I don't think we kind of back each other enough.
Yeah. As in the Asian community?
Yeah, I don't think they do. So like
That's a bold statement.
I think that we don't. And like, I think that's just facts. I don't think we can deny the fact that we, particularly as an Asian woman or a Muslim woman, I've probably faced more backlash from my own community than I have from people outside my community. And actually, when you actually look at my work, I've always like presented Islam as something that's really important to me. I've always presented my religion as something that I really believe in. I've had like debates on telly about how, as a Muslim woman, how much I love my religion. I have always presented my culture as something that's really important to me. I've never shied away from the fact that like I am a Pakistani at home. This is the food we're eating with our hands, and spoken about. Like, I've made such an effort to present us in like a positive light, and people will pick on like one statement, take it completely out of context because they simply have decided from the get-go that they don't like you. Like, if I'm completely honest, in 3 years of telly, or within my first year and a half of telly, I had fronted my own mainstream TV slots on BBC One, on BBC Two. Like, I had done incredibly well, and I don't think I was given near enough respect as much as I deserved for that, because there are lots and lots of people trying to break through who weren't able to do it. Yeah,
that's deep, man. This podcast got deep. Like, you know what? I have to say thank you for sharing that, because it takes a lot of guts to just come out and say that. And you're not wrong. Listen, I started on YouTube. I started on, like, Instagram wasn't about when I started. It was just Twitter. And I've experienced the other end of, you know, scrutiny and whatnot. And I've seen the most judgmental community online is a Muslim community. Ironically, because in the Quran, in the Sunnah, it's taught that we're not even supposed to judge. We're supposed to make excuses for your brethren and conceal each other's sins.
And you're supposed to be so concerned with your own sins, that everyone else's sins are invisible to you. And do you know what? I'm not saying my sins should be invisible, because maybe. I mean, I'm on telly, so I am exposing myself and doing everything on telly or on Instagram. But if you're that concerned, drop me a message. Don't act like you're doing an Islamic thing by slandering me online. It's horrible.
I would just like to see all the haters just come and say it to your face. Do you know what I mean? When I see comments and stuff, I'm like, I'm not even gonna lie. Nowadays, I'll just give it back and I'll just start cussing their mum. The other day, someone like tried to have it out on me on the comments here, and I was like, I just started cussing his mum, and he deleted his account. I wasn't even sorry. Speaking about the Muslim community and how much backlash you've had and blah, 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 blah. As a Muslim South Asian woman who has got the guts, and it's a thing that people don't really realize, right? Who has got the guts to go on TV as a positive role model, right? How do you deal with people's negativity? Like, does it keep you up at night? Or do you just pretend to get over it, or like, how do you? I know that's a deep question. I didn't expect it to be this deep here, but like, I think for guys it's a lot easier because I can just cuss their mum. Do you know what I mean? Whereas for you, like, how do you deal with it?
Okay, so when I first started, I was lucky. After Muslims Like Us, the response was so overwhelmingly positive that the minor hate didn't really mean anything. I think it was particularly after one of my documentaries where, so it was two-sided. So the first issue was the fact that the team that was making that documentary was entirely white. And when I watched the cut, I raised a couple of things that I wasn't happy with. And I said, these things are going to cause a problem, and I don't feel like it's sort of fair representation of what I believe in. So we need to change it. But it was, again, I hadn't even done 1 year in telly, so I didn't have that much force behind me to kind of kick up a fuss. You don't want to be seen as like a diva. You don't want to be seen as someone who's like difficult.
Yep, I know them ones.
And it was kind of brushed off, and it was a lovely team. They just couldn't see it. They couldn't see it from the lens that I could see it as somebody who was Asian. And it was sort of brushed off as nerves and anxiety, and they said, oh, well, don't worry, you know, it's all right to be nervous, it will be fine, there's nothing wrong with it. So on one hand, that was the issue. On the second hand, I think people were totally fine with it when it came out until one particular person kind of started this campaign against me.
What?
And the campaign was not just, oh, I thought this was problematic because of X, Y, and Z. It was full on hate, like full on, we're going to make sure she's never on TV again. And started this like petition to Tony Hall, like the head of the BBC, writing emails saying she shouldn't be allowed to have a show again. And then people, because that got sort of retweets and likes, people started jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
And so people were like basically writing poems and shit, like jumping on saying, you have shattered the glass ceiling, but the glass has fallen on us. Like, it was,
the fuck?
People were literally, and I...
What you talking about, Willis?
And I couldn't really believe what was happening. So on one hand, it was really frustrating because I was like, I knew some of this would be a problem. Yeah. And on the other hand, I was like, half of you have not even seen the show. Yeah. Half of you have not even seen the program. And you're just jumping on, exactly. And what you're actually doing in the process is trying to ruin my life.
Yeah.
And that was a really difficult time. Yeah. And that was the same filming that while we were filming, we were in a predominantly Asian area. Yeah. And during filming, we were physically attacked. And
Are you serious?
Yeah, and these guys recognized me from Instagram, and there were like 5 boys in a car smoking weeds off their heads, and they started screaming that I was a slag and a prostitute, and how I encouraged their women to work, and actually I'm just a whore, and they're like, God. They're literally, you can smell the weed from the car, and yet they're shouting, is this what the Prophet's wife was like? Is this what the Prophet's wife was like? And then they got the car into the pavement and tried to run us over and record.
Where was this?
I don't really want to say, and I'll tell you why, because what was most upsetting about that whole scenario was I was in the middle of recording a piece to camera where I was saying that there are areas that have been so negatively portrayed in the past by the media, and there are places where people have been vilified and have to live with the reputation that media has created for them. And yet I've met some of the most amazing young men in this place. And while I was in the middle of standing up for these people, they tried to run me over with a car. And then the backlash of the show, and I just thought, at that point I was like, I don't want to do this shit. Like, if everyone's gonna find a reason to hate me when I've literally never said a bad word about anyone, and I go out, you can see in Muslims, I was 3 weeks in that house, and like no one can really say a bad word about me, and I don't say a bad word about anyone, because like alhamdulillah, I like try my best to carry myself like in a certain way in day-to-day life. And I thought, this is bullshit. I was so much happier when I was teaching. Like, what like...
That's the thing, the minute you step into the spotlight, you're asking for the good and the bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, as a woman though, I don't even have to say this as a South Asian woman. As a woman, how do you do stuff like that, man?
Do you know what's embarrassing? People don't realise, like, your family's reading that. Yeah. Like, my mum's reading that, my brother's reading that. Do you know what I mean? My students are reading that, and it's embarrassing. Yeah. But I think after that, I feel like nothing can get much worse. Yeah. So I made a real conscious decision at that point to steer away from anything religiously linked and culturally linked.
Yeah. So you have to kind of plan your steps.
Yeah, and I was like very strategic in the fact that I want to move into the mainstream now. So I plotted, and like alhamdulillah, I did it like well, I think, and I started doing more mainstream stuff. And now, I mean, the thing is, if you've got something substantial to say about me, say it. I'm all ears. Like,
cuss them on, bro.
No, I'm here. I won't even cuss your mum.
Send them my way, bro.
I'll send it to you. You can cuss their mum. Like, I'm here for criticism, and I'm here for constructive criticism. But if you're just gonna be a dick and you're just gonna say, "Oh, you're a prostitute," it's not upsetting anymore. Like, come with some legitimate criticism, and I'll listen to you.
I understand, because even like when I make my content, I have to always describe it as surface level, because the minute you make Islamic content or Muslim related content, right, it could be about it could be about praying or doing this or doing that. You just get 1,000 people from different madhabs saying, oh, but that's not right, and that's not right, and that's not right. So even me, I have to tailor my content to be in a way where no one's arguing. You still get that one or two dumb comments.
And it's a shame because we should do more to kind of...
We should elevate each other.
Exactly.
We should elevate each other.
Yeah.
But going back to the industry, right? So you were saying how the people higher up didn't know what to do with you, right?
Yeah.
I saw you tweet something about a show that you
tried to
put together, and then Netflix made the exact same thing.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I've been in that situation before. I've pitched something to a broadcast company, and it was a sick idea. Spent ages on the treatment, made it look so nice for them to turn around and say it looks great, but we've got something similar. And I looked at what they thought was similar. I was like, this is not similar, bruv. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It was literally like black and white, not similar. But like, you're always, like I said, you're doing all these, amazing documentaries and programs. How do you pitch to broadcasting companies? Because you got your foot in the door, right? How do you pitch to them and like do it in a way where it's like, all right, cool, this is what I want to do? Like, do you find a struggle with that? Because
massively. Like that's like,
so it's not just me.
No. I think, and actually when I tweeted about it, I felt a lot better because I felt like, oh, this happens to loads of other people as well. And it's not just me. It's really frustrating. That's like my biggest struggle, I think, day to day is, so I have links now. I've obviously over the last 3 years, I have got to know lots of different production companies. And then I know some commissioners who directly work for a broadcaster, so commissioners within the BBC. So depending on my idea, if I feel like I can write a treatment myself and just send it directly to a commissioner, I'll email it directly over and say, I've had this idea, what do you think? If I feel like I need a bit of help, but I've got a really great concept, I'll send it to a production company and say, do you want to work on this with me? And then we'll have a phone call, and if I feel like they kind of get the vision, we'll work on it together. 9 out of 10 times they don't get the vision. I think it's because the TV industry is predominantly made up of white middle class people, particularly white middle class males.
I love how you say it so polite. I would just say basically, everyone higher up is white. They don't understand the man them, and they don't give me a chance in it. Like, that's how I would say it. Boy, current.
But I think they don't understand, and it's not because people are inherently evil or bad people,
No.
It's because
they didn't get
their experience is so far removed from yours. Like, they don't have this. I was born in Hackney, brought up in Tottenham, from a working class background. I lived on top of a shop and in a council estate. Like, I'm Pakistani, I'm Muslim. My background is not something that these people understand. So things that I will find interesting, or people like me will find interesting, they don't. And that's, again, it's with the best will and intention in the world, they just don't get it. So they'll say, well, I feel like it's not going to appeal to our mainstream audience, or they'll say, yes, but can we change it and make it really shit? Or they'll say,
straight up.
Or if it's something to do with women, if it's like female related, they'll say, oh, but in 2001, we had something quite similar. So it's like, well, we can only make something about women every 20 years.
What?
So even though it's over 50% of the planet. So
I'm getting tired hearing this.
The most frustrating is then when you see someone else like Netflix make that idea, and you're like, told you so.
Yeah.
So we're like...
I was watching your program documentary, the truth about cosmetic surgery, and I was just like, I'm not gonna lie, I just forwarded it to your bits. So I was scanning through it and I just saw you. I was like,
can I tell you the truth?
Huh?
Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble. I forwarded to my bits too.
I think everyone forwards to their own bits, bro. But I was forwarding it, and then I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then literally there was one guy who was like touching your nose and telling you, and then you were like, I'm fine with my weird nose. I started laughing, and then I forwarded it again. Then I see some man chopping up woman's body like a saw.
That I know, yeah. So that was, they were taking the bum fat and they were putting it into her face.
I was like, bro, this is some Saw 5 shit.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is
That's my
this?
favourite scene, I love that.
And then you was but you were wearing masks before masks was a trend, yeah? And I was like, bro, this is some crazy stuff. But like, is there, obviously, imagine the pitch. Whoever was accepting your pitch said yes, yeah. What kind of crazy, or it doesn't have to be crazy, what kind of program would you really, really want to present?
Do you know what I really want to do? One of the things I really want to do? I want to make a talk show.
Yeah.
Like Loose Women.
Okay.
For women.
Yeah.
with great women
Yeah.
talking about women's issues,
Yeah.
but make it young and make it diverse. So I want like a bit like Wendy, but not celebrity gossip. Like a bit like Loose Women. I just want it like, I don't think we see enough female representation on telly, and I think that would be really great. Like if you had a panel of me and like a couple of other really great, young, clever women, and then we talked about stuff. I'd like to do that.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yo, BBC, Netflix, ITV, all of you. But you know what? You've come full circle because I've seen on your Twitter like you're doing the teaching awards.
Yeah.
And I saw you like presenting a teaching award to one of the teachers behind a tree.
Yeah.
And her face was all like, oh my god! Like, you know what? That was really nice to see because I've got 2 awards, mashallah, and getting the award, that feeling you can never describe. So to wrap up, what I want you to do,
Go on.
I want you to present to me
Yeah.
this Sonic Award.
Yeah.
Let's call it a Sonic Award.
Sonic Award.
For Best Actor.
Okay.
Let me paint the picture for you, yeah?
Yeah.
Pandemic's over.
Yeah.
There's 10,000 people in the arena right now. I'm in a tuxedo waiting backstage.
Yeah.
All right. You got your fancy dress on. Yeah. You've had your makeup done by the most famous makeup artist ever.
Yeah.
You've been asked to present to me the Best Actor. Award for the Sonic Awards.
Yeah.
Right? You ready?
Yeah.
Right. Take it away. You hear that gulp? She's sort of the spit.
I'm not an actor, Isla. Like I'm not good at
Presenter.
this.
Present the award.
Okay.
Go for it.
And the winner of the Sonic Best Actor Award goes to Oh, I'm so pleased about this because this is a guy who actually I did a podcast with once upon a time, and he's so incredibly talented and so incredibly kind, and I'm grateful that I can call him a friend. The winner is Islah.
Hey!
Alright.
Yeah, man.
Should I do it again?
No, that was dope.
Okay.
You even did like the whole envelope.
Yeah, I
You
did
were
the
like,
envelope.
Some fake shocks, bro. Like you were not shocked that I won that. Thank you, Mehreen. Where can everyone find you? Not like on the street in the car, but where can everyone find you? I love how we're able to make a joke about it now. Yeah. But where can everyone find you so they can follow you? Not physically. Or, you know what? It'll be in the description below. Let's just leave. That's a wrap, guys. That's a wrap. Oh my god. Thank you, man.
I enjoyed that.
Did you do it?
I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
It turned into a counselling session.
It did. It did feel like a counselling session.
Yeah, sorry.
Do you feel good?
I feel like that was hugely therapeutic for me, but I kind of made your fun podcast into like
No.
an account of my personal woes.
No. If you said it was therapeutic, then it was.